Hi, Kat.
Hey, John.
How is it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome for asking.
Yeah. What are we doing here, Kat?
John, here and now, we are recording a podcast.
Okay. Plausible.
It's well, not only plausible. It's reality. It's happening.
So you say. That's,
Okay.
That's
Well.
fine. You know.
Why are you afraid the audio's not going to record?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you the name of the podcast that we are recording.
Oh. Wow. I could just sit here and you'll do the whole thing for me. I like it.
It's called My Mistake.
Okay. And what is the My Mistake podcast? What happens on that thing there?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. We talk about mistakes.
We do.
We do that.
Yep. That's good. Whose mistakes do we talk about, Kat, when we talk about mistakes on the My Mistake podcast?
Well, when we talk about mistakes on the My Mistake podcast, we talk about your mistakes,
Yes.
my mistakes,
Yes.
mistakes that guests have made. We'll bring people on. They'll tell us their mistakes.
I remember when we did that.
We used to do that.
We used to do that thing.
We also used to do something you coined hysterical mistorks.
Thank you for giving me credit for the one good thing that I may have contributed to this podcast.
No, stop it. Well, way back in the old days, one of us would choose a historical topic that had
Right.
sort of a mistake theme, or it was just like a big clusterfuck.
Right.
And then that person would tell the other person about it, not knowing what the topic was, and it was a lot of fun. Those were the good days.
Those were good. I feel like I don't know. We just must have had a lot more spare time back then, or cared more. I
think
maybe that was
maybe
it.
both.
Maybe that's it. Could be.
I mean, really, if you think about it, most of those were done during the lockdown.
You mean the lockdown that we're still in?
Well, like when people weren't going to work, I didn't
Right.
have a job for a while.
Right.
yeah.
True. Yeah. I'm still not going into work. I'm still not leaving the house very much, Kat.
Sure. Yeah, I know that. I know that about you.
It's becoming a problem. It really is.
Why is it becoming a problem?
We're so out of pace with the rest of society at this point. Like I
Sure.
ate like $130 worth of concert tickets to like my favorite contemporary artist because I looked at pictures of how many people show up at the outdoor on the ground venue and went, ew, no. Yeah. Yep.
I gotcha.
It's a thing. And so this is the thing. Once upon a time, like that would be like, okay, that's something people do. Now it's kind of like, oh, you're on that extreme end of things now. I'm like, actually, I just never stopped being exactly where we were when this shit all slammed down.
Right.
Yeah, but now it's super unusual to still be trying really hard not to catch this thing, I think.
I think you're right.
Yep. So I'm just an unusual person, Kat.
I've always said that about you, John.
You have always said that I was unusual.
I have said. I mean, I'm not the only one who said it, but
No. So what other types of podcasts do we do besides hysterical mistorks?
well,
And guests and my mistakes and your mistakes.
well, sometimes we do something. Not just sometimes. A lot of the times, we'll do something called a shit shooter.
Right.
Where you and I come in blind, we're shooting the shit, don't really have a plan.
I have to say we've gotten better at shit shooters, in my opinion. Because what we found is there are a few things we can do without too much effort so that it just doesn't sound like you're coming in to Kat and John's hot garbage mess.
Oh, hey, look at that.
I memean,
That's a great
some people
title.
tune in exactly for that, and bless you, mistakers.
Bless them.
Yeah, that sub demographic.
Well, I would argue, John, that what we're doing tonight is not technically a shit shooter because we
Right.
do have some things planned.
We have some planned content.
So I think a shit shooter is more of like we have nothing.
Right.
Someone has surprised us, like, oh, in 5 minutes you have to record a podcast. And we're like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay, that's happening. So is this a fart shooter then? Is that what's up? Because
No,
it's
I wouldn't call
not
it
quite a
that.
shit shooter. No?
I want to call it that.
Okay. Just checking.
If it's not a shit shooter, what would it be?
I already shot my shot there,
All
Kat.
right. Well, I'm gonna work on that.
Okay,
I'm gonna work
okay.
on that while we're recording this
I'm
episode.
kind of married to fart shooter at this point.
I'm gonna do
it's
my
not
best
quite a
to
shit
make
shooter.
it not
We're about
that.
halfway there.
No,
I
don't
mean, it
want
could be a
that.
shart shooter, but I don't think anybody
No,
wants that.
that's worse. All right, I'm gonna come up with a great title, but by the end of this podcast, or else we will
okay.
call it a fart shooter.
Okay. Please, I hope you come up with something, frankly.
I really do.
But remember that you are also going to be editing this episode in a quick
That's true.
turnaround, so you can always take that promise out.
That's true. I could just cut that right out.
Yep, no problem
No one
at
will
all.
ever know.
Easy peasy.
No one's gonna know.
All right, so I feel like we have options.
We do.
Because we definitely have some content.
We definitely are
We
prepared.
definitely, totally, 100% are not without content, folks. I swear. What do you think? Should we? Should I start us off here with an oops file?
I think we do it. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. I think that's what's happening. Kat, once again, I took all of the effort of typing mistake into my search engine of choice.
Amazing.
And then when results came up, I said, show me news and only news about mistakes. And, you know, Kat, I would say about like 80% of what comes back to me when I do this these days is sports related,
Interesting.
which is not interesting to me mostly. I mean, occasionally there's a sports mistake that I really do find interesting. Mostly no.
Okay.
Yep. So what I found today, I thought you might be interested in this
Okay.
because it involves something that we both have engaged in, and that's getting married.
Hey.
So talking about a wedding mistake.
Oh boy.
And we all know, like, the biggest mistake you can make on your wedding day is to have one under the wrong circumstances.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's so
I
true.
mean, I did that once. I don't recommend it. No, the second one was way better. But
And holding strong. All that.
yes, yeah, like many years later. But this actually is not that type of mistake. By all accounts, the bride and groom are very happy with their choice and that they have done. But no, this involves a guest at the wedding.
Oh boy.
And I will tell you, it's one of the things that surprised me the most. And there are a couple of weird things that I think I can reconcile about the way that this story is told. But here's here's the title of the article in that venerable publication, the New York Post.
Ah, yes.
I don't normally like to give any business to the New York Post. I checked this out on 2 or 3 different sources, and unfortunately, the New York Post has the level of bombast that I was looking for exactly on this one.
Amazing. Okay.
Okay. So here's one of the things we're going to have to reconcile. The title is Guest Mortified After Wedding Day Mistake Caught on Camera. Okay.
Okay.
So the thing right off the bat that is weird about that is you can get it in the first line of the article. A woman has revealed the mortifying, quote, mistake she made at her friend's wedding, sharing a clip of her unbelievable error.
Okay.
So it says guest mortified after wedding day mistake caught on camera, and yet it is that guest, her own self, who posted the video of this gaffe onto the TikTok.
Ah, the TikTok.
The TikTok. And so this goes into that, column of feels like maybe like at some level, anywhere around this, it might have been done for the likes,
You saying that maybe your bullshit meter is going off?
I'm hearing a light klaxon in the background.
Okay.
But I will say the video does look pretty convincing and does seem to show what is advertised. Let me go ahead and read into this article. Wedding guest Haley shared a video showing her walking up to her friend's wedding cake during the reception and grabbing a knife. While the cake had already been cut and served up, the top tier had been left untouched, as it is tradition for couples to freeze it and eat it on their first anniversary.
Everyone knows this.
Everyone does. Like almost literally every single person who's ever been to a wedding. Children might not. I would expect that they wouldn't. Yeah, and the thing that is weird, like in various places, they said that she went up too soon and cut the cake, and it's like, no, the cake had been cut, but the top of the cake, which is traditionally, as they say here, and everybody knows, so I probably don't even need to repeat it. The bride and groom usually take that home, put that in the freezer,
the bride and bride,
or the bride and bride, or the groom and groom. Forgive me, I was not being inclusive there, and thank you for correcting me.
I was just waiting in the weeds. I'm like, oh, he's totally gonna.
Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? He totally did it.
He totally did it.
So in this case, the bride and groom, they would take this home, stick it in the freezer, and then when it's nice and freezer burned and gross a year later, that's when you both like take a little bite and go, and then throw it in the trash. But you did it. This is just the topper sitting on a cake plate, and you can tell that it's because it's got the in this case bride and groom topper on it.
Okay.
And this woman in this Minnie Mouse ass dress, walks right up and just cuts herself a slice of this. If she's thinking this is the whole cake, she's like, I don't even know what's going on in her head.
The little miniature bride and groom are sitting on top of this top part of the cake, and she thinks it's cool to cut into, or she's
pretending to think it's fine,
to think it's okay,
or she really does look unabashed when she's. I mean, I have sent you a link if you would like to watch the video.
You know I will.
Of course. But yeah, she slices right into the thing and then licks her fingers.
Okay, well I'm gonna watch it first.
Yeah, you watch the video. I always love to hear Kat describe a video. It's so much better than the video itself.
Is the audio important, or can I just go without the audio?
I have not actually listened with audio.
Okay,
I tend not to on TikTok because it usually is one of 3 songs, none of which I can stand to hear.
There she goes. You're right. She does look like Minnie Mouse. She's cutting very hurriedly, as if she's been dared to do this.
It's possible.
She grabs a piece. She puts back. Takes a little bit. She's dancing. She's having a good time. And now, okay. Why was someone? My question is always in these situations is why was someone recording this?
Okay, and we're going to get to that because it is included as part of the story.
Good. Okay.
Here we go. But without a second thought, Haley can be seen cutting into the white cake, adorned with a bride and groom topper, and plonking a slice on a plate while licking her fingers. My apologies to the bride and groom, is the quote. She captioned the shock TikTok clip. Haley, wearing a red and white polka dot dress, said she was unaware of her blunder at the time, explaining what was going through her mind when she committed the wedding offense. Quote, ignoring the brownie table and confidently cutting myself a slice of her wedding cake, thinking, uh-oh, they forgot to serve it to everyone, she wrote in text over the footage. Actually, they cleaned up that text a lot because she said confidentially cutting myself a slice of her wedding cake. And here they put confidently, which I think is what was actually meant there. Thank you, autocorrect, for correcting that word from whatever whatever terrible thing it was into something that was not the right word, but at least the correctly spelled wrong word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I quote, I know better now. I hate myself, end quote.
Okay.
Yeah. The video quickly blew up, amassing almost 4 million views and hundreds of comments since it was shared on Tuesday.
Oh, God.
One comment came from the bride herself, who reassured concerned viewers the pair were on good terms. Quote, as the bride whose cake this is, M dash, she is formally forgiven and has learned her lesson in wedding etiquette, end quote, the woman wrote. However, the, quote, mortifying blunder proved too much for some, with many declaring it, quote, insane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop doing the quotes. I think people will hear the quotes.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, this isn't even funny, and this is why I will elope because of selfish, unaware people like you, another said. I would be absolutely mortified, someone else wrote. Others couldn't believe the person behind the phone who had captured it all on film didn't interject to stop it from happening. First of all, I take issue with that sentence,
Okay.
because they did not, in fact, capture it on film. It was
right.
on a phone,
That's
no film.
No.
All
Digital file.
That's correct. It's all bits, baby. All bits. No atoms. Did not interject to stop from happening. Why did this person just record you doing that instead of telling you not to? One asked.
Good question.
Okay, valid mistake, but why didn't the person recording stop you? Someone else said. And Kat said something very similar. And another wrote, I just want to know why the person videoing didn't stop her. So, Kat, if you ever felt like you were a unique snowflake and the only person who saw that coming, or who pointed that out, I'm sorry to disabuse you of that notion.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll be okay.
Okay. There were even people who claimed Haley's mistake was unforgivable.
Oh, my God.
Declaring they would be unfriended immediately. In response, many argued a slice of cake wasn't worth losing a friendship over, right? And to me, I don't know about you, Kat, but when I think about the people who were at my wedding,
Right.
there are totally people who would have been forgiven immediately for having done this.
Sure.
And then there's a whole other group of people
Totally.
never, ever would have forgotten about it. Probably would not have stopped mentioning it almost every time I saw them
Of course.
after that.
And I would just, for the record, will
Yep.
say I was not at your wedding. So I
You
would
were
know.
not.
You would. I don't know which of those categories I'd be in, but I think I would be forgiven.
Yes, you would totally be forgiven.
But I was going to say something similar, John, where it's like, it depends on who does this. I have so many comments on this, and we could probably do a whole episode about this, and then it would just kind of devolve into why social media is garbage.
Right.
First of all, she seems like a dummy. Like, she's just bopping along, blah, blah, blah. Again,
Yeah.
my bullshit meter is definitely going off. I don't think
Sure.
this was unintentional. If anything, the bride was in on it. They wanted to get a bunch of fucking, TikTok views, whatever.
Right.
I think what happened is, if I'm reading this correctly, they had a brownie table for the guests. Like, hey, everybody, we're doing brownies. And we're going to have our own little cake here. So we do the thing, and then we'll take this home with us. Does that sound right?
I would agree with you, but this is another thing that I have to reconcile, because one of the things that they say in her defense is that the bride and groom had already cut the cake.
Okay. So
But
they had a bigger
says-
cake, and this is what's left.
This is just the top,
Okay.
which you preserve for yourself. It sounds like the cake may not have been big enough to give a piece to every guest at the wedding. So there were brownies, or because it was apparently white cake, they thought some people would prefer a brownie to a piece of white cake.
That's very generous guess. Hosts to do that.
Agree. That they're thinking of everybody there. Some people love chocolate, some people don't.
So if that is the case, then how dumb do you have to be? This is why I think it's bullshit. To see this, it's a cake. Basically, it's on a pedestal. It's literally this section of the cake's on a pedestal. It's pristine.
Yep.
It's got the little bride and groom on top of it.
It's on a separate table from the table that has all of the other goodies on it.
Yeah. And so why, John? Why is there a knife on that table? If they'd already cut the cake.
Oh, that's a good call out.
And this was they were saving this for their 1-year anniversary celebration. Mm-hmm. Where'd she get that big ass knife from?
Well, this is a question. It's possible that she like that. I'm not sure. It's possible that the knife that was used to remove the top is still there with it, or like as you said. Here's the thing. There's no middle ground on this. Haley here, otherwise known as broke ass Minnie Mouse, is either really smart or really dumb, because if she planned to do this and then ended up with 4 million likes,
views, whatever.
Yeah, no, I hang on, let me see. Make sure I'm reading down through. 4 million views and hundreds of comments.
Right.
I know you can like things on TikTok, right?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah.
That always seems like you're going to get a whole. Pardon me?
You can like heart them, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be a number that would be much higher than just the hundreds of comments. Like
Fair.
you'd have like thousands of hearts on it. But yeah, 4 million views, hundreds of comments. That's all TikTok is, right? It's like you just want to get the views.
Totally.
Yeah. And then once you do that, you can become an influencer and then, collect underwear and then profit, right?
Profit.
Yep.
And I would also say it's not a big deal. Who cares? Like, no one's going to see the cake after that day. They're going to go home with it. It's fine. Again, back to your intention argument, where it's like, oh, Haley, fucking Haley. It's fine. Let's go. Like, or it's like, Haley, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I mean, I could honestly go either way with this, because I've known some Haleys. I really do. Like people who are just, and I've been a Haley. I have done dumbass things that were really obvious even to me afterward, and probably if you'd asked me 5 minutes before I did the dumb thing that I did. Like sitting in on a recording session and deciding that I needed to open the door from the control room to the studio to take a photo.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was dumb, Kat. It was real dumb. And every atom in my body is like, how did you just think that would be okay?
Did everyone just like turn and look at you? Like,
yes.
What are you doing?
Yeah, there was yelling, and there was no way I could defend myself. I had done the thing. So I have been the Haley, and I wish that I had gotten 4 million views on,
exactly,
or maybe not. I don't know, Kat. But I have done dumb things in my day. I have been the Haley.
Sure.
It is believable to me either way. As a matter of fact, I might actually lean toward Haley being not smart enough to know that this could result in 4 million views. Or I could say, wow, yeah, Haley's a certified genius. And
she's a genius.
She's a genius.
This is hard because my wife has turned me into a TikTok watcher.
Okay.
She'll send me things.
We're just blaming Leah now.
100%.
Okay.
She doesn't listen, so. But no, she will send me videos, and that's how she's like, kind of brought me into the TikTok. Mm-hmm. And maybe every third thing she shows me, I'm like, yeah, this is fake, right? This is fake.
Right.
This is totally not real. So I feel I'm very proud of my bullshit meter. I feel like I can detect a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
It falls right there in the middle.
Because if maybe she is a genius, and she could also be a very good actor. You could just tell if someone is pretending to be upset or pretending to do something. Like, it's not. You're not a good actor, so you're not convincing me. She's convincing me.
And the story here is that she was completely clueless about that she was doing anything. I know she looks completely unashamed
She's just
to
like,
me,
bopping around, having a good
Mm.
time.
Bob and Janet are great. Give us the white cake. I don't know.
This is interesting.
Yeah. So back onto the topic of whether this was unforgivable or not.
Yes.
If we assume that it's true.
Sure.
This was a quote. As someone getting married in the near future, I seriously wouldn't care. It's just a cake. Who cares? People get way too uptight over weddings, one said. I think that's fair.
I feel like that aligns with my feelings as well.
There we go. Why is everyone so mad? She obviously didn't know, another added. One more said, friends are way more valuable than cake.
Okay.
It would take me 2 seconds to forgive this. Wedding etiquette has long been debated with the most controversial unwritten rules surrounding whether or not you can what, Kat? What do you think is the number one no-no at a wedding?
Do not dare to wear white
Okay.
to a wedding.
I knew you would know this.
Of course.
That's why I was setting you up for success, Kat.
My etiquette is superb.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So, experts argue no, stating it draws away from the bride. Now, I really want you to deconstruct this. It's a sentence,
Okay.
but it's a run-on one. But it's it's the last one of the article, and it says experts argue no, stating it draws away from the bride, but social media regularly lights up with fury at snaps of guests in the bridal color.
Wow.
So what they're saying is, experts say you shouldn't wear white, but social media gets really angry if you wear white. So somehow it's as though they're two opposite sides of a story, but they're actually the same side. We're just agreeing
I see.
viciously with each other.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we move off of this stuff, I mean, we can keep going. Before we move off of this,
Yeah.
I want you to watch the video one more time.
Okay.
And imagine, John, you and I are going to stage this video.
Right.
We need a corner somewhere. We need a little cake and maybe a couple of people. That's all you need.
Yes.
This is not, there's no proof that this is an actual wedding.
Nope. No proof whatsoever.
This could just be someone's backyard.
I totally could. Yeah, for some reason I'm not able to get the video to play.
No.
I think I've installed some blockers on stuff, and clearly they are working. Okay,
well,
here we
that's
go.
good.
No, I got it rolling.
Okay.
Do. All right, here she's coming in with the knife that she
Yep.
has in her hand. It's a big knife too. It is
Oh
like
my
a big,
God.
like a server. Yeah, there's no. There are a couple people off to the right.
You see arms moving.
And I do see, like, they seem to be dressed appropriately. That's definitely a dress shirt.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. This would be very easy for us to stage.
We could absolutely reproduce this.
Yeah. It does not mean that that's what's happening.
It doesn't.
But maybe this is where our next big thing lies, Kat. Is we reenact reenact videos that are shocking.
I'm just shocked. I'm shocked by this.
Right. I don't know if are you familiar with Celeste Barber?
I don't think so.
Celeste Barber is a comedian who hails from Down Under.
All right.
And she makes, I think she does do TikTok. I've seen them on Instagram, where basically she takes videos made by supermodels
Oh, yeah.
doing like usually often very weird shit. And then reenacts them herself being not a supermodel, but
Right.
instead a very, attractive, woman who is not a supermodel.
Right.
And just doing these things. And it's rather hilarious to see an everyday person doing things that we accept without any question when we see supermodels do them.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a big plug for Celeste Barber. You're welcome.
Exactly. It's going to see
Never
a
mind.
huge uptick.
Yeah, never mind that she got super famous when there were the fires in Australia because she ended up raising like $1 trillion from her videos for that. She's also super cool. I have not seen her actual like comedy other than those videos, but Ace is on the videos. They're very fun.
Very
Celeste
good.
Barber.
Go check out Celeste Barber.
Yep. I think she goes by Celestoid
That's
on
cute.
Instagram. Mm-hmm. at Celestoid. So yeah, definitely check that out. That's been the Oops file, Kat.
Ooh.
Unless you have more to talk about.
Don't have anything for the Oops file,
Okay.
but John, let's talk a little Bison report.
Ooh, you know I love a Bison report.
Well, the Bison. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the Bison high season, right? Like people converging into our national parks.
Yep.
The bison are out and about, so there's just always good interaction between human and bison. So
For sure.
there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think wasn't there like at least at Yellowstone, was it like a big flood? Or yeah, it was a flood, not a fire, I think.
Okay.
And I believe it, and that's at Yellowstone. Yeah, no, yep, something like that. Anyway, there was something that decreased the amount of park that visitors could visit, and I have read that this is a possibility of why, because the bison have moved away from that flooded area, and then visitors to the park are not supposed to go to that flooded area.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because I was kind of going there where it's like, why do the bison like to hang out by the road so much? Why are they like to be around all these dummies? But if they have no choice, that makes more sense because even not necessarily attacks. There's lots of videos of them just kind of milling around the roads.
Near the park road, right?
Yeah. So
Which is not a place you would think they would hang.
no, because like they have all these like big, beautiful rolling hills and all the grass. Like there's like so
Listen,
much.
are you blaming
land.
the bison here, Kat?
I'm not bison blaming.
Are you saying? Are
I'm
you asking what
just-
they were wearing and if they should have been where they were?
It's curious to me. That's all. I just think it's curious.
You're bison shaming.
I'm not
bison
bison.
blaming?
No, I
Yep.
would never bison
Okay.
blame.
Okay.
I'm the last person on this podcast who would ever bison blame.
That's interesting. That's interesting that you would phrase it that way, Kat. Because what that means is that you think I would be the first of the two of us who would bison blame.
I didn't say that. So.
No,
Well-
you didn't. You very pointedly didn't say it. You walked all the way around it, 360 degrees in a circle around blaming me for blaming bison. And frankly, I resent that.
I didn't say it.
I resent the implication, Kat.
So, John, do you know what rutting season is?
What, rutting season? Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Can you explain to the people at home what rutting season is?
Yes, I could very easily explain what rutting season is. Typically, among mammals, there is a time of year or times of year when females of the species go into estrus, meaning also known as going into heat. And so this will be rutting season when the males will be competing for the attentions of the females. And among bison, I believe one of their typical behaviors when doing this to prove that they are mas macho is that they will butt heads.
Mas macho.
Mas macho. ¿Quién es mas macho? Bison 1? Oh, Bison 2. Yeah, so they'll butt heads. And I guess the winner is like whichever one can still do mathematics afterwards. I don't speak bison, so I'm not sure that that's what happens.
That
But
makes sense.
yeah, they bang heads, and one of them gives up eventually, I think.
Yes, and actually,
How right am I, Kat?
no, I mean you nailed it, John.
Thank you.
So now, because it is in fact rutting season at Yellowstone, love is in the air,
In
and
the whisper of the tree.
there's a couple videos out there of you actually seeing the headbutting of the bison,
Sure.
which is crazy because again, like super powerful
Yep.
animals just running into each other.
Full speed.
Full speed, and we all know how dangerous they are. Like, you know, when you see videos of them launching people with their heads, like this is a very powerful animal. So
Yeah.
that's fun. Well, guess what, guys?
What do we got, Kat?
When the bison, when the bison are frisky, driving is risky. That's pretty good, right?
That's great. I was going to go into when a daddy bison loves a mommy bison very much. He will sometimes butt his head at full speed into Uncle Joe.
Yes, that also catchy.
No, I definitely like when the bison are frisky, drive and be risky.
So this week, unfortunately, some people found out how frisky these guys can be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's video of these two bison are kind of roughhousing a bit, and then one of the bison just kind of runs up on a car and just headbutts it. Like, fuck you, car.
Oh boy!
And I just sent you the video,
Right?
article.
And I'm pulling that up,
And,
and I love the title of the article.
The title is "Huge Sex-Crazed Yellowstone Bison Rams Car in National Park." I mean, it's all you need to know. That is the perfect headline.
I just like that Newsweek went with sex crazed. Like, that's, yes. Thank you, Newsweek. Once again, proving how far you have fallen from the days when you were a valid news source
That's very
to
true.
accusing bison of being sex crazed.
So, as John has said, this is a Newsweek article, so we're going to give them their credit, newsweek.com.
For sure.
So this video captured by a visitor shows a bison headbutting a car during mating season.
Mm-hmm.
Vehicle had several others, and several others were unable to move because a herd of bison was blocking a road. Again, like they just kind of, like they own the place, they'll just kind of show up and do whatever they want to do.
Sure.
And humans have to just deal with it. So this guy was in a car behind the vehicle that was rammed. And in the video, his name is William. You can hear William saying, "Oh no, they're coming at us. They're fighting in front of those people."
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
I have to tell you, I think this may be the third bison butting a car video that I've heard about or seen this week.
There's a lot going on. I think it must be because it's rutting season, right? Like
It must be.
It must be the
and they
reason.
see the cars as competition, which
They
is to
must.
say that bison are not all that bright necessarily, but they were there first. So
They were. And it seems like bison have two speeds,
yeah,
terribly slow and terrifyingly fast.
yes,
And they switch between the two very quickly.
like from 100% chill to 0 chill.
Zero chill.
That's
Exactly. And this video is a good demonstration of that. And I guess the rut, during the rut,
the rut.
the rut itself lasts from mid-July through September.
Okay.
So beware if you're heading out to Yellowstone the next couple of months. During this period, bison socialize with one another as the males compete for females.
Mm-hmm.
According to National Park Service, their Facebook page, they say male bison, bulls, fight with each other to prove they are strong mates to females of the herd. Bulls will mate with multiple females over the course of a single season. However, female bison, cows, will mate only with one bull.
This is, yeah. Yep. Not making any comments on that. Was thinking about
what
it.
were we gonna say,
Almost
John?
did. No, not gonna say that, because it certainly wouldn't apply to. It would put me firmly in the cow category. But the interesting thing here is, like, what I'm getting from this is that the cows are more attracted to, like, because here's the thing. It's like, okay, so me and Bob, we're both interested in Petunia bison. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Have I mentioned that Bob and I are both bison in this scenario?
That came across.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Don't want to throw any fastballs out there.
No.
So like, okay, so Petunia the bison is watching, and Bob and I knock heads.
Sure.
Let's say Bob ends up ass over tea kettle at one point and gives up the whatever.
Sure.
Now, Petunia, is she only gonna let me do the dirty bison, or is it like, what if Bob had the utter audacity to lose the headbutting competition, which again I'm still not clear on exactly what the rules are
Yeah, how
as
do
to
you
who
win?
wins and who loses.
Yeah.
and he comes around sniffing around Petunia, is she going to be like, no, sorry, Bob, John is the superior bull here, so only he gets to, yeah.
I mean, I think so. Isn't that the implication? Why would they do it otherwise?
There are things I've seen like this type of competition other places in nature. For instance, elephant seals that I know you have seen on the California coast.
Those things are crazy.
They're crazy big. Like, it's nuts. They're almost like elephants, but they don't have any legs.
Yeah.
And so just imagine an elephant that gets around by like heaving itself muscularly
It
across.
seems like a mistake. It seems like nature has made a mistake.
It feels like that, doesn't it? In any case, there will be these big competitions and these giant beach masters, I think they're called. That might be sea lions only, I'm not sure. But anyway, the big bulls. And they have harems, but these bulls, they get so big that I feel like some of the smaller dudes could be like stealth, like gonna sneak in, take care of some business, and then fuck off back into the ocean. I feel like you could get away with that because the dudes, they're really big, so they're not necessarily all that fast. And if you're smaller than they are, I think you might have a shot.
That's fair. But I mean, if the lady elephant seals are like the lady bison,
right?
They're only
do they
interested
prevent?
in
Are they like
Yeah, they only want that one bull. So maybe they're like,
Yeah.
hey, man, get out of here. I'm going to tell my big-ass husband what you're doing.
That's right. I'm going to tell mine and all of my friends' big-ass husbands.
Exactly. All my
About
sister
this.
wives seals.
Yeah.
But also, maybe Petunia doesn't see you and Bob going at it. Like, how does she know who won if she was around the other side of the car and didn't see you guys going crazy?
Yeah. Does Bob F off so he doesn't get the chance? He's just not even around?
Yeah, does he
I don't
not
know.
try? Because he's like, oh, I lost, so...
Yeah, this
maybe
is
next year.
This is what I call like self-limiting.
Yeah.
Bob could go around and, as far as I know, there's no Bison internet. Nobody's like checking the brackets
Yeah, I
for,
don't think so.
for who won and what. He could be walking around to a part of the herd that maybe was off in the distance when he and I were butting heads.
Sure.
And he'd be like, "Oh, did you see how I kicked John's ass back there?" And I'd be like, "No." And he'd go, well, since I did, as long as I'm here,
I mean,
and
I'm
you're
here.
Just
What do you-
nice grass.
What do you say?
What do you say? Let's
A lot of tourists with cameras.
get it on.
Let's do this, Petunia.
Doing some Bison Berry White. Kat, have you ever? Are there gay bison? I know there are gay penguins, and I know that there's some other animals that have expressed this in nature. It's one of my favorite things because there always be like somebody who's like, well, it's not okay because it doesn't occur in nature, and then you're like, here are all the studies of all the different animals where we can see animals that have engaged in same-sex behavior.
Well, John, according to Wikipedia, the American bison is a bovine mammal which displays homosexual behavior.
Hey,
So, yes, my
Bison
brothers and
pride.
sisters. I knew I liked the bison for a reason.
there you go.
My brothers and my sisters.
This just makes me more interested in the world of bison. None of this is taking me out of this. The Bison Report is going to become its own spin-off podcast.
Oh, my goodness.
Because Kat doesn't have enough podcasts.
I do not.
Nope.
Always be podcasting.
Always.
Well, that is a fun fact that we just learned here together. John, thank you
I
for
love it.
bringing that up.
I love it.
And to wrap up again, the National Park Service wants you to remember, it's important to remember that during rut, bulls are on a high alert and can be aggravated easily. Because, I
Right.
mean, to be fair, it looks like they can always be aggravated easily, but even more so during
Even
rut.
more so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also remember, John, no matter what time of year, always stay farther than 25 yards away from all wildlife and make sure both tires are on the white lines if you pull off the road to view them.
Yep. I have no problem with those instructions. The
Very
car
simple instructions.
in the video, Kat, it seems to me that car was there for a long time before that bull decided it was time to headbutt it. Mm-hmm. So once again, my empathy is for the bison, not for the driver of that car.
I mean, maybe it was a rental. I don't know. Hopefully Hopefully.
Is there Bison insurance?
I don't
Google that up for me.
Okay.
See what can you get a Bison rider on your insurance to make sure? It wouldn't surprise me if people are renting cars specifically to go into the park.
Well, it's looking like not so much, but
No
there is
active Bison.
There is an insurance agency called Bison. It's Bison Insurance Agency.
Well, I feel like just like as a matter of principle, they should offer Bison insurance.
So anyway,
that's been the Bison report.
that's the Bison report. I will bring up something else that is related to Yellowstone, and it's very dark. It's very
oh dear.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure you heard the story, John. That a foot was found in a hot spring. At
It's funny. My podcasting partner sent an email to our shared email address with the title, "John, do not read," and then right under that, in my reader, are the words, "foot and partial leg found in shoe."
Yeah.
And that was all I saw. So I that is as much as I know about that. Why don't you tell me about that, Kat?
Well, I will tell you about it, and I'll take you on the journey that I went on when I first found out about this.
I cannot wait.
And of course,
do I need to pack much?
People know now that I'm into this, and so of course I was getting it texted to me, and it was like, I get it, it's a foot. So
National Park. I mean, like we've really specialized in bison, but this started out as like death and horrible mistakes.
It did
in national parks.
It
right?
did, and so it's a park employee. This is an article from the Seattle Times. I'm just going to kind of pick some phrases out of here, some facts.
Okay.
A park employee spotted part of a foot in a shoe floating in a hot spring in the southern part of the park. In the Abyss Pool, they closed down that section of the park for investigation. And then they kind of throw some more facts at you. And then that's it. The article's done. I'm like, well, that's weird. I mean, they must know where the foot came from. Like, they have any idea? And so you dig a little deeper, and they say the foot is related to a death at the end of July.
Oh,
now,
like what? One that was already known about? I mean, okay.
So as you know, because of all my searching,
yes,
Google suggests all kinds of articles for me.
Right.
So whenever there's an incident like this at a national park, it usually shows up in my feed without me looking for it. I was like, I don't know what this is. I have no recollection of an untimely death in Yellowstone at the end of July. So I did a little digging. I could not find it anywhere. I only found was the foot story referencing a death in July 31st, I think they said. But there's no backup information.
Okay.
So then I found one of these articles, and I was scrolling down to the comments. I'm like, okay, maybe other people are looking as well. And like the first 5 comments is like, hey, does anybody know what this is related to? Any idea how this person died? And then someone commented, the park systems don't publicize deaths by suicide.
Oh.
And
they're afraid it might be like advertisement of
for like
people be like, oh, that's where I'm going to go do it.
So then I was like, oh, well, that's dark and upsetting and not as much fun. Like if some dummy jumps into a pool because they think it's like, it's a hot spring, right? We've talked about those people.
We have talked about
previous
those people.
episodes because those are mistakes.
Yeah.
But
I specifically remember the one guy just before he died horribly saying, hey, I want you to take my belt off because I'm going to need that because it's my favorite belt. So this is after they fished him out of the boiling water.
And then he died later.
And he died like 5 minutes later without having realized that he was even in bad shape.
He had been cooked.
Yep. Yeah.
So
all right, I have questions.
Okay.
Unless you have more to talk about before it gets to the Q&A portion.
I mean, just that this particular pool had high acidity, I think.
Okay.
And they basically think the person just was, kind of dissolved into this pool, and this is what was left.
I love all the scientists in the crowd are going to laugh at the fact that you said the pool has high acidity. So basically,
Basic
acid and
acidity.
base.
Come
it's the whole
on.
thing.
Hey, yo,
Yep,
chemistry
hey-yo.
people.
Talk to me, scientists.
Hey, scientists, hey.
What weirds me out about that is like, how did just the foot survive? Like, how it's. I mean, because it's like, was that part like? I don't know. Was the pH super high or low?
Mm-hmm.
How would that work? Why would that one part of it? Maybe was it a prosthetic leg that person had, and therefore did not dissolve?
Interesting.
I have many questions about why that would be the only part that's found.
Yeah.
If in fact the dissolution of the rest of the corpus was within that pool.
Indeed. It is a very, these are all good questions. We'll never have answers because I feel like they won't release these details.
Right.
Because so that two dummies like us can't talk about it on a podcast.
And be like, hey, all of our listeners who might be thinking that, I can't even make jokes about this.
No,
It's
let's
not okay.
No,
But yeah, it's not a good idea to advertise places where you can go and make things happen fast like that.
Yeah.
Because in fact, it doesn't always happen fast. So let me just say right off the bat, if you're thinking this is the way to do it, no.
Do not.
It is by all accounts horribly painful while it's happening.
Yeah.
And then you might be dazed enough not to realize how badly off you are. And then you'll die. But
So hey, don't do that.
yeah, don't do it.
And it's awful that this person did this to themselves, and
It is.
terrible. I think suicide has touched a lot of people that I know and in our audience, I'm sure. So that's not a joking thing, not making light of that. But if you do go to Yellowstone, do not get anywhere near the hot springs.
Right.
Don't fuck around. Don't cross over that barrier. It's there for a reason.
They're not hot tubs.
No.
They're hot springs.
They're hot springs. So please be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And that concludes our Bison report
All
for
right.
the week.
Well, I'm sure that you will have created music for the Bison report by day after tomorrow.
Of course.
This is new content, folks. Real close to the release date, just so you know.
Fresh. It's fresh.
It's very fresh. Love it. You love to see it.
Love to see it.
Kat, we have received an email.
Oh my goodness.
From
Look at that.
From Beck. Hey, Beck.
Hello, Beck.
That seems not right.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's hey Beck, right? Isn't it? Like, hey Beck.
Hey, Beck.
Hey Beck.
I don't want to steal some other podcast's gag. You know what I mean?
It's not stealing if it's your podcast. Now, if I say it, it is. So you can say it and I can't. I guess this is podcast appropriation. I guess at this point.
We'll just make our own Beck thing.
Okay. I don't know what that would be.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Yo, Beck.
Oi, Beck.
Oi, Beck. Oi, Beck.
Oi.
Oi, Beck. I like that,
Oi.
mate. Sorry, I stole that. I stole that from Dan Harmon. That's the only thing he can say in an Australian accent.
Amazing.
Is, I like that, mate. And he says it just as badly as I just did.
Fantastic.
Yes. All right. In any case, Yo Beck writes,
Yo.
"Hey losers," which I didn't realize we had advanced to this stage of relationship.
Oh yeah, we're this close that we can call each other losers.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm gonna take that in the best of all possible ways.
You should.
I didn't even ask if it's okay for me to read this email.
No, I want you to.
Okay. Good. I'm glad because I was gonna do it anyway.
I know.
Okay. First off, I was terrified to write this email. How often has AK judged me and my grammar, or my grammar and I? That is an excellent callback.
That's pretty good.
It would have been much closer to the actual episode, but we did do a forced encore the previous week. So,
That's right,
forced encore. Were we forced to release it, or were you forced to listen to it? It's anybody's guess. We don't know. Right, but yes, this refers to when AK, in their infinite wisdom, corrected me on my frequent misuse of saying "and I" when the proper way would have been to say "and me." So yeah, I don't come to this podcast to learn things. How dare you try and educate me, AK? All right, shots fired.
Oh, it's on.
It's always shots fired here, and I am here for it. We love to see it. It's a good thing. I never realized how negative I am when I speak about my kids.
Oh
boy.
no.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Here we go. Now I think about it. Have I actually ever said anything nice about them here or on the Snopt?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm gonna go with no, but
think
it is a guess. I would have to go back and revisit previous emails from Beck. You know Beck?
I feel like that's a no.
I'm gonna go with no. Yeah. I've even complained about them to Kat outside of both podcasts.
That's very true.
It's amazing. I'm so glad you can see through me. I'd hate to think how I come across to people who don't know me. Guess what, Beck? There are a lot of people who don't know you who hear these emails. But I think that your approval rating is probably pretty high. If anybody wants to dispute that, please write in to mymistakepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of Beck. Beck on trial. Okay. I do need to correct you, though, Kat.
Oh, boy.
I know how you love that.
That's my favorite thing.
Right. No, I'm the one who likes that. Because I'm a grammatical masochist, I'm going to say. Something like
good.
A grammaticist. Does that work? Okay,
That
good.
works.
Okay,
Pretty
good. I don't think I've ever called them arseholes.
Fair enough.
I like to call my kids little shits and bastards. I'm pretty sure you and Tara used arsehole to describe all kids in general. So you actually called my kids arsehole. How dare you? How very dare you, Kat?
I dare.
I added the how very dare you, Kat.
That's good. I like that. It's good delivery.
Yep. Would you like to riposte? Would you like to respond to this accusation that you have called her kids arseholes?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
Kat's
I feel good about it.
You're doubling down on the arsehole kids. Okay. All right. The opinions of Kat are her own, and not necessarily those of the entire cast of the My Mistake podcast. So the Commonwealth Games is happening at the moment, which you guys probably don't care about at all. Accurate. Accurate. I mean, I don't know, Kat, do you?
Nah, I'm good.
I don't even care about sports that take place in my own hemisphere, Beck. So no, I don't.
I do enjoy sports, and I do like track and field and such, but it's very hard to find over here. So if I was cruising through the channels and I saw the Commonwealth Games, I might stop and take a look. But I mean, I love the Olympics, but it's hard to find that stuff when it's not the Olympics. You know, this is more sort of like the sports that Americans aren't that into. It's hard to find that shit.
Yeah. There's only one, like, if you consider poker a sport, I've been into a sport there. But there is one sport that I sort of fell in love with a long time ago when I was residing for a period of time in Hawaii. And it was Hawaii. And I think I'm on record as having said this before. I'm very into sumo wrestling. Oh. I think it is one of the cooler things to watch.
Have you ever said that on this podcast?
I think I have. Maybe I haven't.
I don't think so.
But yeah, it's really one of the only like sports that I really enjoy because first of all, it's just weird AF. It's a sports sport. Are you kidding? It's wrestling. It's right there in the title, sumo wrestling. Okay. Although it's just sumotori, I think is anyway, sumo. It's fascinating. There are cultural and religious aspects to it, Kat. There are very different strategies, and the strategies can involve your own physical makeup. there have been famous sumotori who are very muscular, very strong. Like, I mean, they're weight training constantly. And then there are ones who are just so big, they just get even bigger and just completely use their weight to do the sport.
Interesting.
I've always found it fascinating, but now I've talked for like 5 minutes about sumo, which is probably not part of the Commonwealth Games. When I think Commonwealth, I'm thinking like UK, maybe some Ireland, which actually I don't know. Is that a common? It's not a. I don't think that's a Commonwealth.
Oh no,
Northern Ireland would be part of the UK.
Yeah, Ireland got the fuck out.
They're like, nope, we don't want any.
I mean, Australia, New Zealand,
Canada. Yeah, the remainder of the British Empire. I think is what we're talking there. In any case, back into it.
Yes.
Yeah, which you guys probably don't care about at all. I think we've proven that. There was a pretty bad crash in the cycling, and riders jumped the safety barrier.
Oh, no.
It produced this gem that I know you guys will appreciate. It's a dad using his kid as a shield. He is really pulling her up in front of him in that last frame. There's so much fear on her face. It's so good. I don't even feel slightly bad about laughing at it. Now, I managed to...
Beck is not wrong.
No? Okay. I have not seen the video yet because this is, in fact, the first time and I'm just seeing a JPEG here, not a video.
It is just a JPEG. We have not been provided the video.
I see. Okay. So here we see a rider on a Lotus bike.
Very expensive bike.
Yeah. Probably weighs like 7 pounds or something.
Maybe, if that, yeah.
Yeah. And sure enough, this brunette dad is pulling his soulless ginger child between himself and the bike. I'd like to think, and the look of terror on the child's face is good. It's wow. And by the way, I can use the G word because I did until I went blonde. I myself was a ginger.
Sure, yeah.
Not nearly as ginge as this one, but
super ginge.
Super ginge. Yeah. But no, the father very much looks as, and it almost looks, Kat, is he holding a camera and filming over her shoulder as he... No, sorry, that's her hand.
Yeah, she's holding the cap to her
I think
bottle.
she just has the bottle cap to the bottle that she is now squeezing with all of the terror that a person might do.
She was mid-sip, I think, and then this happened.
Yeah, I'm going to say the mom isn't entirely out of the woods on this. It looks like I'd like to think she's trying to push the child out of the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it happens. My guess, obviously, it happened very quickly, and you don't have a lot of time to think when things happen like this. And you're probably in shock for a little bit of it, so you really don't react too quickly. But maybe he thought he was trying, like maybe in his mind, he was like, oh, I got to get her this way because he's come. But maybe he didn't realize the guy was coming directly into his lap. But then you look at that third photo, and like he has moved that. Now he's like literally behind the girl's arm. Like really, it really doesn't look good for him. Yeah, no, he is definitely human shielding his own body. And it's not good. Yeah, no, it's not good at all. This dude is not living this down forever. Oh no. Yeah, I feel like Kat, we need to post this photo. We definitely will. We'll put this up on our My Mistake the podcast page on Facebook, and maybe we'll hook it up on Instagram as well. Let's do it. Can we just? I would like to go back, and I do want to respond to what Beck said about me calling her kids arseholes. Right. And I will say this, Beck. I don't think your kids are arseholes. Every photo and video I've seen of Waverly and Oscar, they look like sweet, funny, joyful kids. And of course they would be yours because you, Beck, bring a lot of joy to us. So I don't think your kids are, if your kids are arseholes, then so are you.
But didn't you say all kids were arseholes? I mean,
Well,
that seems to be what, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but
sometimes, John, you say things because they're funny. Like sometimes you lie for a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And
nothing is sacred but the punchline.
Indeed.
That's what my brother-in-law says.
That's true. I think it's true.
I think nothing is strong.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. So, no, of course, I love your kids, Beck. Your kids are cool. It's other kids.
Other kids are arseholes. Okay, so all of our other mistakers who have children, please write in and let Kat know how much you appreciate her calling your kids.
Tell me you don't think your kids are arseholes. I know some of those kids out there. I know some of these listeners' kids. Mm-hmm. You tell me they're not arseholes.
One by one, they need to be defended on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Beck. Always lovely to hear from our mistakers.
100%.
Yep.
Appreciate
and
that.
our people who listen to both the Snop cast and My Mistake podcast, which I forget what we decided that they're called.
I can't remember.
I keep needing to go back and check that out.
I should write that down. AK, I feel like, had some good ideas.
AK had some great ideas. AK's always got some great ideas.
Course.
They are a podcast treasure, not
really
just
are.
a friend of the podcast, but a podcast treasure.
I 100% agree.
Yep. Cool.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've come to the end of our show.
The old clock on the wall says we're out of content, Kat.
And I did promise you
Yes.
I'm going to pitch you some ideas.
Oh, I like it.
For the shows where we, you think this was a shit shooter, but my argument is, well, if we have content, you can't call it a shit shooter because shit shooter, implies like loosey goosey. We have no plan.
Right.
So, in the case, for my argument, I think we would call something like what we just recorded as a head scratcher. Now, go with me on this.
Okay.
A head, another name for the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on the toilet.
Nautical term for the
toilet. There's no shit. We're just scratching our heads. It's a head scratcher. Okay, you don't like that? We're gonna move on.
Okay, yeah, not vibing on that, Kat. Okay. I'm sorry. I mean, it's better. I will give you that it is better than a fart shooter.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that is what I'm trying to fight, is the fart shooter. Okay.
Yep.
How about Welcome to the Outhouse?
I'm more on board with this because it has a Vonnegut kind of feel.
Okay.
Welcome to the Monkey House, I think is the yep.
Great.
You're probably totally aware of that.
Obviously. How about Commode Commander? We're commanding the commode.
Ooh, okay. We're getting closer here.
Okay.
We're getting closer. Definitely warmer.
Okay. And I think I'm going to end with I don't think you're going to like this one. Another name for a toilet, John. What is it? I know you've heard this your whole life.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, a John.
How about a John Clogger?
Okay.
No, I'm going to cross that out.
Perversely, I kind of dig that.
Oh, do you really?
This is how vain I am. At least my name's in it.
Well, okay. Then we're not using that one. Okay, this is the last one. This one I think you're going to like. Mm-hmm. Instead of a shit shooter, we're going to say, we're going to flush it tonight. We're flushing it.
We're flushing it. Okay. Let's call it, hey, maybe it's a two-flusher because there is actual content. Like, but if we have too much content, do we need a poop knife? That's the real question.
And here we are again.
There we are,
back.
full circle.
I love
full circle to the poop knife.
All right, we have some strong contenders here.
Yeah. Why don't we take
to the streets?
Take it to the streets. Take it to the people, Kat. Power to the people.
Okay.
Let's hear what the mistakers out there in the world have to say about this. If you have a favorite where it's not a shit shooter because there's actual planned content. And surprisingly enough, I think we actually did use nothing but planned content tonight.
100%.
I'm proud of us. Very proud of us.
So I'm going to make this more succinct. We have a two flusher, which I think I like it. Kind of took something from you. A two flusher.
I like it.
Are we the Commode Commanders? Or Welcome to the Outhouse?
Right.
Tell us what you guys think.
Yeah. If you have your own that you feel are so far superior that we would
Also
choose
good.
that.
Yeah.
I promise you that we will not be as forgetful about it as we are about whatever the term is that refers to people who listen to both Kat's unnamed podcast and My Mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Nope, not at all.
Well, there you have it.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna keep. I'm keeping this. This is what I'm keeping. Next time.
There's real paper
It's been
on
written.
which has been written real things.
Yep.
Let's hear from you, Pete. Yeah. Kat, you want to do the honors?
I would love to, John.
Okay.
Until next time, everybody. Fuck Mike Pence.
Fuck Mike Pence.